Have you heard of Red Dead Redemption 2? Well, if you haven't, don't watch this video. Because who hasn't? This video game was an atomic bomb. It was the nuke of Rockstar Games. I didn't say hello, so hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about Red Dead Redemption 2. The video game everyone brags about. Well, they have a reason. But do we know that reason? Well, there are tons of reasons. Don't you think that I want to talk about the reasons? Because if I'm supposed to talk about all the reasons, well, the reasons are infinite, they will never end. I only want to mention a few, like maybe 3 of them. 3 is enough. Well, 3 is better than 3,000, yeah? So, let's just start with 3. Oh, this guy brags about Red Dead Redemption 2 a lot. Well, yes, because you can brag about it. There is possibility to brag about it. And you enjoy bragging about it. It's just the masterpiece, the GOAT, or better say the nuke in video game industry. Nothing is like before. After Red Dead Redemption 2, everything changed. Nothing has stayed the same. So, let's go. Like I said, nothing has stayed the same after Red Dead Redemption 2. People who experienced Red Dead Redemption 2 back in 2018, after finishing the video game, they started to feel such a great void in their lives that they cannot enjoy other video games anymore. I personally have had such an experience. After playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and after going through all the things this video game had to offer, I couldn't be the same. I just cannot be the same. Every video game I play, I just compare it with Red Dead Redemption 2. And I just cannot enjoy that. I cannot say, okay, this video game is really good in many cases. And then I will remember Arthur Morgan. When I want to say character design, Arthur Morgan comes to my mind. When I want to say graphics, I just remember the mountains and the graphics of the snow in Red Dead Redemption 2. And it just haunts me so bad I cannot do anything about it. So, my expectations are not the same after Red Dead Redemption 2. I expect a lot from video game companies. I do not expect them to just leave one video game every year and that video game is the same one as it was last year. Nothing changes about it, just a few particular themes and looks maybe have changed. I want them to put some effort on it and have an artistic look to that video game. So this was the first revolution. This was the first act against this dull and mundane procedure of companies creating one video game every year and it's the same, nothing has changed. Because it's their business, they just want to sell their video games. Rockstar Games acted against this procedure, acted against this cycle, this failed cycle of creating one thing and copying it for the next year. Rockstar Games was not out there for 5 years straight. The last video game that it released was GTA 5, and everybody was thinking like Rockstar Games has created GTA 5 and is selling because of GTA Online and doesn't care about video games anymore. Until 2018 and the release of Red Dead Redemption 2, we all understood that that was wrong. That was dead wrong. Rockstar Games was a rebel against this failed cycle. Rockstar Games was not the failed cycle, was the rebel against this failed cycle and dropped the nuke and destroyed this failed cycle. If not destroyed completely, 80% of this situation got destructed because players out there could not expect anything less than one company creating a video game that we will all remember for years, especially those with lots of money. And we ask them and we want them to create something better when they have our money in their hands. So, in which parts we want the companies to do something like Red Dead Redemption 2? Well, in this episode I want to talk about two of them. First one that we all agree on is attention to details. Rockstar Games is creating a world. In this world, everything makes sense. Like everything. Your actions have consequences. You cannot kill everyone easily. Bad things are going to happen to you. You cannot get away with it that easily. Well, the attention to details makes the game something that makes sense. Everything in this video game makes sense because of the attention to details. And attention to details in what parts? What parts of the video game? Well, first is the ecosystems and the environments. The environment is live. It's not a dead environment. It's not a static environment. It's a dynamic, diverse environment. When you walk, this video game is fun even walking. Like you can just walk and see things going on. And it's just fun. You will get entertained by only walking in this video game because you can enjoy the environment. You can enjoy the scenery. You can see a beaver chopping off wood. You can see a tiger hunting other animals. You can see a bear hunting other animals. You can see one bear and two wolves fighting against each other. You can see one person robbing a stagecoach. Everything. The environment has random events, and these random events happen before your eyes. Everything is happening. And even if you walk in this video game and do nothing else, like literally, not even drawing your weapon, you just walk. You see all these things and you get entertained. So the ecosystem and the environment that they have put for this video game is so dynamic that no one can resist to enjoy this. And not only that, you can have interactions with this environment. You can decide whether to shoot the robber or help the robber. You see two people running away from jail. You can help them, you can arrest them. You see two bears fighting against 5 wolves. You can decide to kill all of them, you can decide to help the bears, you can decide to help the wolves. Yeah, it seems a little bit funny, but you can do it. You have the freedom to do it. You see some other random events. You have a choice. You're walking, you're not safe. There are some people trying to rob you, and they point their weapons at you. You can make the decision either to give them the money and everything you have, or shoot them down. You have lots of choices. You have freedom. The freedom that we all craved for in many video games. We play video games because we want to be free in them. To escape reality and go straight to a video game that gives us a choice. And we can make a choice and be active in that. So these interactions with the environment are so realistic, it just feels like the real life, or even better than real life, in my opinion. And your interactions have consequences. Well, they are trying to rob you. You can kill them. It was self-defense. Good decision has a good result. You don't lose your money and you get away. You can give your money. You can surrender to them. But it has bad consequences. You will lose your money. Well, you see someone trying to get away with your horse. You can just whistle and your horse will throw that person away and come back to you. You don't need to kill the robber. And at the same time, you can kill the robber. But it has consequences. Someone might see that you killed him and will go and talk to sheriff. And the sheriff will be after you and they will put a price on your head. Everything has consequences. You gotta be really careful with your actions and the interactions you make. You gotta be really careful. They have been set in a really realistic way. In a tremendously realistic way. Well, I don't want to say how realistic it is. Because I mentioned it like 3 times, didn't I? And not only your interactions with people, your interactions with animals are really important, especially your horse. Well, can you beat your horse up? No, you can't do that. You gotta pay some respect to your horse. Your horse is like a human being. It has feelings. You shouldn't hurt her or his feelings. The other thing is your limitations. You're limited. You cannot carry like a whole goddamn arsenal in your pocket. You can only have 2 or 3 holsters. Only 2 holsters. 2 holsters for secondary weapons and 2 for primary weapons. And a few things in your pocket. Nothing else. You cannot carry too much. And that's a good limitation. It feels alive. Your gun is not infinite. As you use your weapon too much, it'll get rusty. You have to take care of your weapons. You gotta pay some respect. Everything in this video game has feelings. Has a soul. The horse. The environment. Everything. This was the first reason. All this attention to details made everything alive. You're dealing with live things out there. You're dealing with souls. People who have feelings, NPCs who have feelings, actions that have consequences, things that make sense. Just like real world, or better yet, better than the real world. Let's go for the second reason. The second reason is the storytelling. The storytelling has a purpose. Characters are a sign of something. And all the characters and all the events of the story have a purpose. They want to send a message. They don't just want to tell you a story. Okay, either you enjoy it or hate it or whatever. They just want to send a message. And that message is really important. This story is set in 1899, the last year of 19th century. The very last year, 1899, means everything is starting to change. Means the fight between modern world and traditional world. Something is evolving. And there are 2 types of people in this scenario of revolution and evolving. Those who adapt with the change, evolve with the cycle of life. They will try to adapt themselves with the new situation. These are the good people. These are those who will reach redemption. So now the name of the video game is starting to make sense. When things are evolving, things are changing, times are changing, the world is turning, you will adapt yourself with this world. You will not fight against this life. But at the same time, there are people who are fighting against this change and they don't want to see this change and they only care about themselves. And they crave for resisting, for rebellion. And they give everything they have for this rebellion. And they don't know that they are going to lose. The end of this rebellion is losing. Reaching damnation rather than redemption. And all these journeys of different people have been showed in only one video game. For example, Arthur himself, my man, reached redemption. He was a nice person who evolved with the change. Yes, he made lots of mistakes, and at the same time, he was a rebel against this change and evolving. But in this path, in this journey that you play as Arthur Morgan, he will start to understand that he must evolve with this world. As the world is turning, he must turn too. But there are people who resist and keep resisting, like Dodge. That was a sign of rebel people against this. He was the leader of rebels against change. Like our time has passed, but he could not agree with it at that time. But at the end, he starts to agree that our time has passed. And he will actually give up. But there is difference between reaching redemption and reaching damnation. And through this journey, you see people reaching damnation and reaching redemption. You see characters living their lives, turning with this world, adapting with change, and at the same time you see people resisting and losing. This is the beauty of this video game that will haunt you. The journey, the path that you will go through in this video game will make you different. It will change something in you. After this video game, you do not feel the same. You can ask everyone. They will not feel the same. Because something has changed. The message has been sent, has been delivered. That's why this video game was the nuke in video game industry. And nothing stays the same after 2018. And all companies are trying to change. Just like Arthur Morgan, that changed with the world. Now Rockstar Games has started a revolution and other companies have to adapt with the change. Because if they don't, they will not reach redemption. They will reach damnation. This was something that Rockstar did. And we have to be grateful for that. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you want to see more content like this, talking about the revolutions in the video game industry, stay tuned for more, subscribe us, click that like and bell button all at the same time, and leave in the comments why this video game haunted you. What about this video game haunted you so bad you always compare other video games with Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a wrong thing because Rockstar Games is a lot different. You cannot expect all the video games to be revolutionary, but you can expect video games to adapt with the change that Rockstar Games creates. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.